I can't wait to share with you this parent hack. Number one parent hack to get your kids to eat healthier. You're going to want to listen. This is a good one. It's a quick one, but an awesome one. I had a bit of an epiphany. It's been something I've been seeing recently. More recently, actually, now that my kids are 17 and 15. That means I'm getting older. And I don't know if I'm getting any wiser, but I am going to share with you this wise tip. It is truly the number one, really one of the top tips from a parent who has kids, 2 teenagers, survived parenting for the past 17 years with my wife. And the 2 of us have been surviving, right? And I would say maybe some things we're thriving in, but I want to share this with you as I sit here in the parking lot about ready to go in to the grocery store. And I have to tell you, I'm just completely blown away. I'm like, in a good way. And I was like, I got to share this. So now that my kids are older, we ask, hey, when we're going to the grocery store, what do you want? Like, because some of them like different things. They like to eat different things. And so today I had my daughter, she knew a couple of things that I needed. And I said, well, make a list. I know we don't need a lot of things, but we do need some things. And can you make a list for me? And go ahead, ask Mason, ask your brother, what he needs and what he wants. So I got a list in my hand here. I kid you not. First off, I got my kids to write my list for my grocery store. I'm busy, and I'm not ashamed to say, hey, Julia, I'm going to the grocery store. Can you write a list for me? Because I know 2 things. If I don't go with a list, I'm going to come home with a whole bunch of junk, probably spend twice as much as I want to spend. So I got the list. I got the list right here. And I'm so excited and I'm smiling because it truly is a number one parenting hack to get your kids to eat healthier. And I'm going to share this with you. And honestly, I believe it can work at any age. It really, truly can. And this is proof right here. My kids, and let me just read this to you really, really quick. So this is the list that I told my kids that they can put on the list what they, if there's anything they want, my daughter and my son, and this is what I have. Now, I had a couple of things I needed to get. So yogurt, eggs. I know we needed eggs, and there was a couple of things like almond milk. So look at this list. I kid you not, and this is definitely one that's like, I don't know, it's an A+. Yogurt, eggs, almond milk, strawberries, Dave's Bagels, Dave's Thin Sliced Bread. If you've ever had Dave's, it's super legit. They have like whole grain breads and protein. They have a bagel that has grains in it, and it's definitely, if you're going to eat a bagel, it actually has some protein value in there, and I've enjoyed it, and my kids have. So Thin Sliced Bread, check this out. Half and half. Well, it's not for them. Their mom and I like half and half in our coffee. Yes, I'm going to tell you, I put a little half and half, just a little bit of half and half in the morning. Okay, green tea, Arizona, no sugar. I'm not even kidding you. It's on there. See that? It says no sugar. No sugar. So they make like a diet one, and they actually make an unsweetened green tea, Arizona green tea. I think there's an unsweetened one. Milk, bananas, rice cakes. I'm just so excited about it. Green tortillas. Now the green tortillas, I know those because I've had them before, and they taste really good, and they have protein in them as well. I think that one was from my son. Now I don't know who wanted this. This must have been my daughter. Diet cranberry juice. So, okay, diet cranberry juice. I'm not too sure about that one. I have to ask. And peaches. They didn't put bananas on here, did they? I need bananas. So she did put bananas. All right. And I think there's a couple other things in there that I'm going to have to write down before I go in, because then I'll start, perusing the aisles. So check this out. Number one parenting hack to get your kids to eat healthier. Do you know how this happened right here? It's not what you think. It isn't, you're the coach and your wife's a nurse practitioner and you're just like health food nuts and, you've probably forced your kids, you probably don't have any junk food. No, it's actually the opposite. It's totally not what you think, because if you know me, if you've been in my house, you know. Now, yes, mom and dad have healthy foods available, right? But we chose not to not make the other options not available. In other words, I think what happens where we get stuck as parents, and I'm not telling you how to raise your kids. You do whatever you want to raise your kids in any way you want, and you can give them any kind of food. But if you really struggled in this, if you have young children, please, this could be something like I can share with you on a wisdom tip here from somebody that's seen it, not just myself, I've seen it with other people. You see, what we chose not to do was be super restrictive, and there was a reason for it. And now I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, thank you so much. And I see how my kids are taking care of themselves and eating healthier and being more active. And, you know, my son's competing and he's got the six pack and I don't have that yet. But anyway, so let's get back to this. So what we did when they were little is we didn't restrict them in a sense where we didn't just only supply junk food in the house. It's not what I'm saying. But we made sure there was an ample supply of healthy options in the house. Now, trust me, one of the things I can tell you, and I did as a kid as well, I got away from eating healthy because that's all was in the house. And how did I do that? I'd go to a friend's house who had all the sugared cereals, and I'd say, well, I know my friend down the street has Pop-Tarts, so I'm going to go over their house. So I still got access to it, but I didn't have it. And the one thing I said, and my wife and I both talked about, like, we don't want to like restrict them to having Fruit Loops every once in a while, or having some Twizzlers, or having some ice cream, or getting candy, right? Or having treats, making cookies, doing sweets and doing things like that, right? Having all those deliciousness. And with even knowing that that could be a hard direction to go down if that's the only option. But what we did at the same time was we also gave them options. There was lots of fruit available. There was lots of like cereals. Now we had Fruit Loops and, Captain Crunch and things like that. But we also had some other things. We had like the Kashi cereals that they never touched before. And now, well, we didn't have cereal on the list, but now they're almost asking for that. It's kind of crazy. Now, why do you think that's the case? Because you know what it is? The things we can't have, we want more. Like when, and I'm just going to say this, I'm going to go there. I knew when I was younger, and maybe you have kids that are right now, and you're saying, you better not drink, you better not smoke, you better not do these, don't do this, don't do that. And I know that my parents were that way. They just wanted to protect me, right? And guess who wanted to do it even more? Me. And guess what? Who did it even more? Me. And it was like almost what you know you're not supposed to do, you can't have, you want it even more. Right? And I would say is while we didn't have ample supply of sodas and candies and cookies and things that weren't really probably as nutritious for our kids. And don't get me wrong, our kids had their moments. I remember my kid, when my son started driving, not like a year ago, he would be coming home and he'd have the sodas. And you know what? We're just like, hey, that's, maybe not the best option. We didn't say like, oh, you can't have that. You're going to do what you're going to do anyway. But we encouraged and we did so. And here's the key. Is while it doesn't mean to have a whole bunch of junk food in the house, it means that it's maybe not really so worth the effort and being super restrictive and just making sure you have lots of other options. And here's the caveat. Here's like the kicker. Here's the tip. They're going, and I say this with everything, with exercise, with your choices that you make, and they're going to watch what you do more than what you say. Can I say that again? If I can get a hey, amen. Your kids are going to watch what you do more so than what you're going to say to them. Yeah, I'm hoping that some of the things that I say to them encourage them to think for themselves, and I want them to be leaders and do things, and have a fruitful life. And at some point, right, I'm not raising a child, I'm raising an adult. But at the same time, it's really interesting to look at this list that I have, and I'm going in here. And it's not always like this. Don't get me wrong. This is like, I'm bragging about this, right? It's a dad brag, right? A healthy coach's brag for their family. And I can say that I know that they've been watching their mom and their mom and dad, my daughter and my son, have been watching mom and dad and watching their choices and watching the things that they didn't really spend a lot of time eating, and a lot of choices they did make with regards to what they chose for food and how we made dinners and what we made available and the options, and that we make our health a high priority by taking care of our bodies and exercising, right? It's obvious. I'm the coach, right? I had a gym. It was obvious. And I would tell you, it's interesting now that my kids are more into the exercise mode now versus when dad had a gym and kind of told them, hey, you got to go to the gym because there's mom's not home and you're too little to be by yourself. So I just say that is my tip, my hack, if you will, parenting tip, parenting hack, whatever you want to call it, is when your kids, if they're a little younger than mine and maybe they're not teenagers yet, is have things in the home. But you can't expect, here's the one thing that I think I would share, and this is a bit of a gripe on my respect, is you can't expect your kids to be pursuing a healthy, fit lifestyle if you're not doing it yourself. In fact, oh, no. Like, I can't take care of myself, Mark. I don't have the time because I'm running my kids around to practices and making sure that they're healthy and active and fit, but I don't have time to take care of myself. I'm going to tell you this. For long term, if you're looking now, once they get older, my son's 17, and once they're out of the house, it's going to be up to them to make those decisions. But as a parent, and while they're in the home, one of the best things that we've done over the last several years, since they were babies, right, is to make sure. Have we failed on so many things? Oh, 100%. We made some bad decisions, lots of them. But I would say when it comes to getting them to eat healthy, if you want to get your kids to eat healthier, one of the ways to do that is to make sure, two things, is make sure you're doing it. They're going to follow. Monkey see, monkey do. It doesn't get more basic than that. If they watch mom partying their faces off every weekend on Friday, living for the weekends, right? And they're, and you got your teenagers about ready to drink, and they're watching mom and dad living for the weekends and tearing it up and eating whatever they want and gaining weight and all that. There's two possibilities. They can look and say, I don't want anything to do with that. Or they can say, yeah, that's what mom and dad are doing. It must be okay for me to do. So just kind of on a cautionary level. But just in eating healthy foods, it blows me away. I'm like, okay, I guess it worked. There's fruit of the labor we put into making sure there was, and it's costly, right? You got to pay for fruits and vegetables, and you get kids are like, and then you see the junk food and how cheap a box of Pop-Tarts is versus like the list in here will probably be more expensive. I could probably have twice as many garbage things on this list and probably spend the same amount of money. But I'm really proud of them for making this list right now. And it is something to be said about of watching how your kids watch what you do and the actions that you have. And maybe even, the choices that you make. And if you exercise or don't exercise, if you take good care of your health or don't take care of your health, if you eat healthy and pursue, and don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. Don't get me wrong, I'll have a couple drinks here and there, and I'll have some sweets, and I'll have those treats, but it's not available so much. We just don't have it available. And now the fact of the matter is, this list isn't filled with garbage. It blows me away. So I'm going to go into the grocery store now. I hope this tip helped. So I'm going to be encouraging to you as a parent, if you have young ones, even if you don't want, even if I'm just good the way I am, I don't mind if I'm being a little overweight, just look at the next generation that's coming around. Now, don't get healthy and fit for your family. Don't do it for that reason. Yes, that's a secondary, fruit of the labor of taking care of yourself. Do it for you, because you're going to feel better. And when you feel better about yourself, guess what? It's going to have a trickle-down effect to your family. And guess where that can start is with the things that you put in your mouth and the things that you choose to eat and drink and how you take care of your body from the inside out. So that's all I have for me. I hope this landed on you well. I'm going to go take care of my awesome list. You can tell it's not my list. Look at how clean the writing is. My handwriting's like chicken scratch. And anyway, I hope this tip helped. If it does, go share it with somebody. If you suck at grocery shopping, if you have no idea what the heck are you going to use almond milk for? What's green tortillas? Get on a call with me. We'll talk about where you're at, maybe where you're stuck. And hey, you might be a good fit for my coaching program. And you know what? It might have a trickle-down effect to your entire family and maybe the next generations to come. Who knows? But we won't know if you don't reach out to me and send me a message, and we can hop on a call and talk about it. Anyway, take care. God bless. Talk to you soon. We'll see you.